What is going on? And we just finished up another webinar on BatchTV. Elijah, let them know what we ran through, baby.
So we talked about mindset, we talked about planning, how to scale your business, and I have some free gifts for you at the very end, so make sure you take full advantage of those.
All right.
Yes.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Batch Monthly Webinar with my boy Elijah. We're gonna let a few people jump in before we get started. Drop a comment, say where you're from. We're all about collaborating. We're all about giving. Connect, squad up, all the good things.
Let's get it. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna pull the chat up here.
Bring people in, excited for these gems we're gonna share. Let's get them.
All right, we got Steven saying where they're from, Nazir from Birmingham. You guys drop it in the comments, say where you're from so you guys can squad up.
Cali, New Jersey, Chicago, I see y'all.
Alex, how many people we got on so far?
Currently we're at 54.
54 and counting. We normally get 200-300, so let's let a few people hop on. As I said, drop where you're from. Elijah,
yes, sir.
Entertain the people.
Yeah, y'all, listen. I want you guys to put one in the chat. If you guys are ready to get some gems, you guys are ready to implement what we're going to share with you, put one in the chat box, put one in the comment box. Let's see, you guys are ready to learn, play at a high level? Yes, let's go, y'all. I'm tired. I'm excited. When Jessee told me what we're going to be talking about today, I'm like, man, this is so needed to start the year. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm excited for it. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. This is recorded, so for y'all that hop on late, it's not a big deal. You can watch it on YouTube, I think, later in the week. But we want you here to be able to ask questions to us and everything. So basically, let's get into it.
Let's do
what we're really going to be talking about today, guys, is we're going to talk about the intangibles that people don't understand how to actually grow a business to get to 6 or 7 figures. Everyone wants to know, how to pull the right list. Should I be cold calling? Should I be driving for dollars? We're not talking about any of that. You need to do all those things, but we're going to talk about how to get you guys to prepare properly. So we're not going to answer questions at the beginning, but we're going to talk about setting goals. So weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly, and how to actually achieve them. Elijah's going to go through a SWOT analysis. Then we're going to talk about perspective and preparation. That's what gets you to having some strong performance. And then we're going to talk about proper mindset. And then at the end, you got some gifts that you're going to be giving out to everybody.
Got to bless the family. Got to bless the Batch family over here for sure.
So we're talking about, these are 4 really high important things, high motivation for high people that are able to really, reach their goals. So let's let's do some story time. Let's talk about kind of what you did and then what we're going to teach everyone so they could have success.
Sure. Once again, thank you, Jess, for the opportunity to share with the Batch family. Thank you all for locking in, for those who are on live and for who's going to watch the replay. Real quickly, my name, for those who don't know who I am, real quickly, my name is Elijah Rubin. I've been doing real estate. I'm going in my 18th year. It's my 18th year, so I'm officially, my career is an adult now. No, I started when I was 21 years old out here. Fast forward, I've completed over 800 plus deals, did over, $250 million worth of real estate transactions. I don't say that to impress any of y'all, but to press upon y'all that I have a lot of real life experience, a lot of trial and error. And I want to take those years of experience and knowledge and share with the family so you don't have to go through the same pitfalls that I had to go through sometimes.
Yeah, and then for you guys that don't know me, I'm the CEO of Batch Service, Batch, and all of our products. My name's Jessee Burrell, and I like putting these on every month. I'm not selling anything. I'm really getting with high-level performers. We're putting together a really good webinar just to give you guys value. That's what Batch is about, is I want to give, if we don't, we're not going to succeed as a software product if we're not helping you succeed in your business. And I truly believe that we should always give back and do everything we can to have people that are supporting our products, giving them the best tools to be successful. And it's not always just our data. It's this type of stuff that's just as important. So
for sure,
let's hop into it.
Let's give them the value. Let's give them value. Go give them mentalities.
So let's start with goal setting. And this is really important because everyone if for all of you that are just getting started, I'm going to make $100,000 this year.
Right.
how? Or I'm going to go from 100 grand to make $1 million in gross or net or whatever. It doesn't matter what your goals are. You need to have proper planning. And I want you to dive into this because I know you do so much training. You spent so much money with mentors and leadership. And what's the thing that you're in here?
The EO Entrepreneur Organization?
Yes, the entrepreneurial organization. You guys have a lot of planning, a lot of prepping. So I'll put my 2 cents into it as well, but I want you to kick it off.
Sure. So we want to keep it super first level. No, I don't want to go top level. For you to be a high achiever, you got to finesse the basics, right? So one of the first things you want to do, like we all want to make money, right? Of course, everyone wants to make 100,000 plus. Hey, not knocking whatever your number is, go after it. What's really important is knowing first, ask yourself, what do I want, right? Be very clear. So what do I want? Do I want 100,000? Do I want 50,000, $1 million, whatever it is? Be very clear. What do I want? Then next, after you get clear on what you want, get clear on why you want it. Why do you want that? Is it because you want freedom of your life? Do you want freedom of your time? Do you want, for your family? Do you want to retire your family? Is somebody sick? Know what your why is. So what, why, then when do you want to buy it? Are you doing that for your first 6 months? Do you want it in the first quarter or by the end of the year? And then the most important part where I see so many people forget this last part, what are you willing to sacrifice for that? Because everything is going to come with a sacrifice. There's a trade-off for everything.
So I actually wanted to jump in is
Sure.
Basically people want to be an entrepreneur. What you're really going to get at the beginning is a little bit of financial freedom. You are not going to have the time freedom. And I think people really think that like I'm my own boss and I'm going to be successful. You're trading one or the other. I have, I've been doing this for a while now. Started with wholesaling, now in the, software space, giving, to the community, but I do not have the freedom of time. I have some financial freedom now, but you aren't going to get both at the beginning. As you scale your business for what your why is, you could potentially do that, but firsthand too, that you don't have a lot of time freedom, or else your business ain't going to be doing that well at the beginning. Now you could scale it and you could do it. You could set it to your lifestyle, but that first year or two, I just want to be very clear with y'all is grind.
Yes, you can't skip the grind, right? And that's what, and people watching the Instagram life, right? They do a deal or two. They don't document any process. They want to delegate everything and hop in the Bugatti and get up out of here. That's the Instagram world. That's not the real world. And that goes out to the last fourth element there of what are you willing to sacrifice? You're going to have to sacrifice your time. Sometimes you're not going to be happy doing the hard grunt work that you have to do, but willing to sacrifice because I know why I want it. That's the very first level. What do you want? Why you want it? When you want to buy? And what are you willing to sacrifice? Make sure you jot those down and get very, very clear that that's what you want.
And then from there, let's dive into what you need to do. So you need your yearly goal.
Yep.
And then, in my opinion, when you're getting started, you should have a quarterly goal. You should be pivoting each quarter to where if you did way better, then maybe you should up your goal. If you didn't quite hit where you were hoping to hit to, you need to adjust down and pivot to the mistakes that you made. And then you have to have monthly. And then you have to have weekly. And then you actually should have daily tasks that you're doing. So do you want to dive into that real quick?
Yeah, so I think it's really important because what gets inspected gets respected. All right. So what you're doing is saying, hey, I want to go to California. Okay, well, let's backtrack that. What do we need to do? All right, where's going to be our breaks at a quarter of the way? What I'm going to do halfway through there? What am I going to do starting my car? So same thing if you're going on a trip, same thing with your business. Setting your goal for the year, getting clear, which I'm going to get into the SWOT in a little bit to give you guys
we're going to give a SWOT analysis. And to you guys that are part-time as well, you can still do this, but it may just be a couple hours. You still have to have the same goals, but I'm dedicating these 2 hours every single day. And that will get me to this many leads. That will get me to this many deals. And you're guessing at first. Once you have a database of numbers, and that could be for calls that you're making, to leads you're getting, to contracts you're converting off that, it's all math. I used to think math was stupid. Now I'm like
applicable math. I don't need a Pythagorean theorem.
It's all an equation. And
it is.
And you're starting off with your best guess,
Mhm.
but then you need to collect data samples, and then you can make decisions from there.
Right. And I
But
think-
so you guys that are new, because I saw a question asked,
Mhm.
you could still apply this. It's just going to be at a lower level. Maybe your goal is to make an extra 30,000. How do you
Right.
get there?
Exactly. And I think that what's really clear, like you said, understanding that time is going to go by anyways. It's where focus goes, energy flows, results will eventually show.
Yes.
Right. So being clear, hey, I had this yearly goal. All right, once a quarter, I don't care if I'm working 2 jobs, I want to do 1 deal for this year. Cool. Hey, how much time do I have to put in there? How many hours a week do I need to do this? And then every month, I need to stop what I'm doing and say, hey, what did I get done for that week? Every quarter, I need to stop back and look at what did I get done for these last 3 months? Because if you don't look at your time, if you don't look what you're doing with your tasks, you're going to see how easy it is to trick off time. Instagram, friend call, let's go over to dinner, let's go and play basketball, let's go out, versus like, I said I want to do 1 deal this year. I said I want to do $1 million this year. It's going to require my time, and it has to be a trade-off, so I can't go to dinner with you guys. You know what? I'm turning off all notifications for these 2 hours when I get home from work, just so I can focus on working in the business and then on the business.
Yeah, like I don't have Facebook on my phone. I have 20 minutes on Instagram a day, which I hardly ever hit.
Mhm.
And I don't mess with TikTok too much, but I need a timer on that one, because you get lost there. But I'm really diligent with my time and my goals. Like I think today I have 1 total hour of time. Everything else I have meetings and stuff booked out. Like I am very diligent with my time, and I'll get into goal setting and how we set our goals. We do it a little bit differently.
Mhm.
So I'm excited to talk about perspective there. But what else do we have on setting goals, or could we get to SWOT analysis?
Yeah, so I think I just wanted to give the top view of it, of, hey, important to set your yearly goal and reverse engineer it.
Yep.
All right, so once you do that, there's going to be so many calls for the year, so many calls for the quarter, so many calls for the month, for the week, for the day. Start small. Like, so you're going to be guessing at first. It's okay to guess, but if you don't track it, if you don't make the adjustment for it,
And it could be anything. It could be cold calling. It could be sending out text messages.
Yep.
If you're in a market to where you could get deals from, you should be talking to realtors or building your buyers list. Like you should have all this scheduled time allocated, and you got to hit those goals. That I call them non-negotiables. Like
Yep.
this is something, if you set your goal for the year and then the quarter, then the month, and the week, then the day,
Mm-hmm.
it's a job. It's non-negotiable.
Right.
Something comes up. Someone wants to go golf and they want to go travel for the weekend. And if the weekend is when you're doing your side hustle, sorry, can't do it.
And then, like, at the end of the day, pick your hard. All right, it's going to be hard either way. Work 40 hours for somebody, it's still hard, but you're working for their dreams, their goals. You only get your sick time. You get 2 vacations a year. Pick your hard. You might as well, if you got to pick your hard anyways, might as well do it for yourself. So what I notice is most people, I think what the saying is, those who fail to plan are
Yep.
simply planning to fail, right?
Right.
And that's why I think.
Gem.
Hey, that's a gem. Make sure you guys write that down. Those who fail to plan are simply planning to fail.
Yep.
And the problem is, being an entrepreneur, we understand people tell us plan, set these quarterly goals, and that's cool. But then we gave us a process, like, how do I do that?
But also, if you have a job and you love your job and you're a high performer in your job, you could still apply this if you want to start buying rentals. You could have a corporate job and still have these goals and set these
Easy.
tasks. If you want to get rental properties, if you're doing flips on the side, like I'm not saying that you need to be an entrepreneur. We have a lot of people that work
Sure.
for us that work inside our business
Mhm.
and have grown and are getting opportunities, to do stuff, but they have to plan the same way. Like you could hit your financial goals, but we're teaching you how to plan. I don't care if you work for someone, if you're already working on your own, if you're starting to work on your own, or if you're trying to scale. This applies to everybody.
Everybody at every aspect, like I said, this is just your plan of how you're going to win.
Yes.
And like I said, and nobody's going to want your success more than you.
Yes.
So you might as well take a little time and invest and, nurture it, plant the seeds. We're going to teach you a couple of simple strategies that you could start for free 99. It costs you $0 but your time
Yep.
and your commitment to execute on it.
Okay. Let's hop into the SWOT analysis.
Okay.
So
SWOT
what
analysis.
is
All right.
SWOT analysis?
SWOT analysis is something I absolutely did not come up with. All right. So just be very clear. I learned it in my entrepreneur organization because let's face it, guys. When I first started out in real estate, like I said,
I learned
18
about it
years.
in college.
Yes, so you learned it in college too. Exactly. I didn't really do. I went to community college, but I was just like trying to hook up with girls. I wasn't trying to learn anything, you know. So I didn't really learn anything really in the college aspect.
It was like upper level management when I was going to school for. I was going to be in golf and wanted to do all that stuff. So part of the program was to learn how to run like a pro shop. So you needed to have like some SWOT analysis and stuff like that. I didn't really understand it until I really owned a business, though.
Right, exactly. It's cool when you're just a kind of employee. It's cool, you know what part you play. But when you have a business, even if you're a business of one, like I say, it's very important to start treating yourself as a real business. Real corporate 500 companies, they do this. So getting into it, SWOT analysis works like this. It's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. SWOT, not AT.
Yes.
All right.
SWOT.
SWOT. All right. So what happens is this: when you start your so you really want to do this in your fourth quarter at the end of the year, because now you kind of doing like a year in review. Yeah. You want to kind of talk about some of the wins that happened that year. Yeah. You want to talk about some of the losses that happened that year, and you want to just kind of get a feel, regardless good or bad. You want to have awareness what happened. Okay. Then what you do, you block out 2 to 4 hours of your time. I like to go to like the Phoenician or go to someplace nice. So you can just, just put yourself outside your regular comfort zone. You want to put yourself in a place where, hey, I'm going to be doing more high level energy value. So what you do, you look at you write down all your strengths. What are some of your strengths are? I'm smart, I'm a good closer. Maybe I'm good at data. Maybe I'm good at talking to people. Maybe I'm good at building relationships. Whatever you feel your strengths are, jot all of them down. You set a timer and you jot them all down. Then once you have your strengths all laid out, then you can write down your weaknesses. All right. Now this is where like people, I mean, they don't show any of your weaknesses on Instagram. I haven't seen one weakness on Instagram in like 5 years. Everybody's winning. Nobody's taking L's. All right. So, but this way you have to be very real with yourself. What are some of your weaknesses? So for instance, I have ADD. It's hard for me to stay focus on everything at once if I don't give myself laser focus.
But this is important because then you start identifying what you need to hire and what you need to delegate.
Absolutely.
Once you can.
And you won't if you think you're the best at everything, if everything's going well. So once you get that clarity of saying, hey, these are things I'm weak in. All right. These are like if I'm not good at, staying on task, or if I'm disorganized, I know these other places to hire. So you're very clear on what the weaknesses are. Then taking to the next level, you identify all the threats. So threats, opportunities. I'm sorry, I jumped off to apology. So you're gonna write down all the opportunities you have going this year.
So let's use real world examples for opportunities.
So for example, opportunities, I could sell properties to hedge funds. I could go ahead and use batch stacker. I could use batch skip tracing. I could go to other mastermind events. All the opportunities I have for this year that I could go ahead that offsets my weaknesses and possible threats. So right. Every opportunity, I could do a unique merger with a relationship. I could hire a coach. I could go ahead and go on a sabbatical. Anything I feel like might be an opportunity this year, don't restrict yourself by money. I don't have money for that. That could be an opportunity. Remove resources away. What are a good opportunity for you this year?
And then figure out how to get or make those opportunities.
Laws of attraction. Once you decide, the universe will provide. All right. But you have to understand this is what I want. And when that inspiration hits your mind, jot it down. Don't worry if it sounds ridiculous. Have a Jessee a personal mentor. I know you don't do that for many out there, right? But if that's one of the opportunities, write it down. So now you have your opportunities laid down. Then you're going to write out your threats. Yep. All right. So these are going to be your threats for the year. The economy could go into recession. Right. Laws could be changed. There's a lot of, you could get a DUI, partying so much. There's all different threats that can happen. Be aware of them, write them down, I
think the biggest threat is yourself and being focused.
For sure. Self-doubt, self-disbelief, getting in your own way. So now you have this
family there's a lot of threats. It's not always business threats. You need to understand of like, if you have things going on in your life, like this could derail me from the plan that we just talked about earlier. That's why doing a SWOT analysis is so important. It's self-awareness. It's being aware of all of these things and then enhancing what you're good at and then getting help and asking for it or hiring it for what you're not. And that's where people try and do it all on their own. Or I think even worse is people try and hire before they know how to do something.
Right. You hire, you don't even know what's wrong with the car. You're like, oh, you fix it. Well, yeah, everything's wrong with it. $3,000, right? You have to Think about it. Most people spend all their time working in the business and never working on the business. This is the first step for you to be able to do such, because you're stepping back, you're getting out of the car, you're looking at the car, you're walking around the car, you're checking underneath the car. That's what you have to do for your business. And like you said, those threats could be yourself, it could be your wife, you could be getting somebody get pregnant, all different things you're able to do.
You got to work on it. And Monday through Friday, if you're, solopreneur or just getting started, you shouldn't be working on your business. You should be working in your business. It's the Saturday nights. It's the Friday nights.
Yes.
It's the Sunday nights. That's when you start working on the things that we're talking about. But it is so important, because if you're not planning right, if you're not evaluating what you're doing right and wrong, I mean, you need to be your best cheerleader and your worst critic, and that's hard to do.
Yeah, and so what happens, once you get that awareness, the average entrepreneur spends about 1.5 hours a year. That's it. That's it. But they want to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, how many hours do you have to work for somebody to make $100,000?
A lot.
How many hours do you go to school so that you can make hundreds of $1,000? But now you have your own business, you only spend 1.5 hours a year. So this is going to at least give you 4 hours. If you doing the SWOT analysis, you're at least going to have 4 hours. You're focused on yourself. Then what comes out of this? Then you're going to look at your opportunities, and you're going to say what opportunities help offsets my weaknesses and helps hedge against the threats. So now I'm going to take 5 of those opportunities. Don't take 20. I know you might have a lot.
Yeah.
Start with 5.
Yep. Great.
You get those 5. Those are going to be your outcomes for the year. Those will be your 5 top outcomes for the year. Then what you do, you create subtasks for those opportunities, right? So for instance, I might want to, one of my outcomes might be.
So this is OKRs
for
exactly. Me.
Yeah,
so I follow objectives and key results. So I have, for Batch, we do it quarterly and we do it yearly. But so break it down to quarterlies. We have a big objective, and then we have subtasks on how we're going to reach that. And that's when you have to get really granular. Let's use cold calling as an example.
Yeah,
I need to make
this
many calls
to
get this many leads. And then I need this many leads to get this many contracts, and this many contracts to hit my goal. And as we said, when you're first started, talk to people in the industry. What are they doing? That could be your baseline. Yours may be better or maybe worse, but at least you have a baseline that first quarter or two. And that could be for driving for dollars or sending messages or sending direct mail. It's all the same thing. You're just tracking stuff.
Right. And so, but it's super important that you're saying having your OKR set there, being clear what those 5 outcomes are.
Yep.
Knowing what the subtasks are.
Yep.
Now this is where the rub hits, right? Until you get to a high level what you're doing on OKRs, which I highly recommend you guys to work on. People call it about KPIs, key performance indicators, very similar. You want to say, look at all these outcomes. I can't do everything every day, especially if I'm working a job, right? So I'm going to look at all my subtasks, and I'm going to go through all of them. For all my 5 outcomes, I have all subtasks for each of them. You only want about 3 to 5 subtasks per outcome, right?
Yeah.
You always got more, but start with those. Then you're going to go through them and say, hey, which one of these should I get done in Q1? Which one subtask should I get done in Q2? Q3, 3, 4. And then once you identify, hey, I gotta get leads and I got a cold call before I can start hiring coaches and stuff. So you know which ones come first.
It's a plan. You're putting a plan together.
You're literally putting a plan. So this is the plan to work your plan, right?
Yes.
So now you have your Q1s all identified. You might have 30 subtasks. Out of all those 30 subtasks, you might have 8 for quarter 1 and make sure that first objective gets done. Now, this is the part nobody told me, and I'm like, all right, because what happens, you see those 5 outcomes, you start doing everything, and you do a little task of everything, and you end up getting nothing completed.
This is where your daily comes to be really important.
Super important, because people overestimate what they could do in a year, but underestimate what they could do in 10 years. If you can master your daily activities, you can knock out almost anything you set your mind to, literally.
Right. So
once you know what your Q1 items are, each week, you're going to have, we call them P3s, your payoffs or priorities. You're only going to pick 3 of them for you to focus on for that week. By you saying, hey, I have all these 9, Q1 tasks.
That's what we do right now. I have a leadership team that each, department heads. And we have weekly one-on-ones. And we were talking about what we accomplished last week, what we accomplished this week, and what we're going to accomplish next week. There's never more than 3 things on there.
Guys. I mean, his Lambo is walking proof. He's pulling up on y'all with the results, all right? So it works, all right? So once you pick those, then what happens is, because I'm telling y'all, if you guys are like me, Type SOS in the comments, shiny object syndrome. SOS, shiny object syndrome. If you ever had that shiny object syndrome, I know I'm not the only one out here, all right? This is one of the fastest ways to prevent it. Because if it's not part of those 3, and it's not part of my 5, I'm not going to do it now.
These are the 3 non-negotiables. You have other stuff you have to do.
For sure.
But these are the 3 things that are priority that you're working on. So maybe if you're doing all your lead generation and you have 3 other things that you're working towards projects and goals, you still have to finish those.
Yep.
And that's when we talk about sacrificing.
Yes.
What are you sacrificing? Are you sacrificing your night? You're going out. Your sleep. Are you getting up earlier to get that done? You can only get on the phones or text or call or drive for dollars so early. You know what I mean? You can't go driving for dollars in the dark. It's going to be hard to find those distressed properties. But everyone wants it, but who's willing to sacrifice it? I think that's the biggest thing.
And that's what it comes down to. And most people just don't know what's the first down. How do I get the first down?
Yeah.
The way you get the first down, you do these first 3. Now, like Jessee said, there's going to be a lot of other tasks you need to do. But you're going to say, I'm not going to do all these other new ideas. I watched this new interview. I saw this one at a meeting. I want to start doing this. I want to start doing probates. Like, nah. You're going to call your absentee owners first. You're going to get those down. You're going to get the boat on the water. And, then you can change the cells, right? So this allows you look at all your quarter 1 tasks. You pick out 3 of them each week. And then try to plan for a month ahead. Hey, this week, I'm going to do these 3 items. Next week, I'm going to do these 3 items. So by the time you're done with the month, and you do your month review,
you did your stuff.
Voila.
And then, so Jaden, I'm not taking questions, but he said, I'm caught all over the place with land, B&B, sub 2, MLM, SOS big time. So what you guys understand is you follow a lot of coaches, but all of them are actually normally really good at one thing.
For sure.
And now you're trying to be really good, like each of them at all the things. Get really good at one thing, a one lead generation or one type of way. Like you want to build out your tool belt to where you could, wholesale, you could flip, you could buy rentals, you could sub to it, you could do novation agreements. That's all in due time.
Right.
Get good at one thing, master it, and then start adding other things to your tool belt. Airbnbs, this and that. Like,
sure.
Get good at, if you want to do Airbnbs, you probably don't want to just get a rental property or buy a multi. Get good at one thing. Same thing for when you're acquiring properties. If you're just getting started, now if you've already mastered it, obviously add stuff to your tool belt. But that's where this planning that we're talking to you guys about right now is so important.
It's crucial. One
thing at a time. Get good, stay focused, and keep elevating. But you can't try and learn everything at once.
Yeah, you don't want to be, squirrel, looking all over the case. And shout out to E.T. the hip hop preacher, one of my personal mentors. And what he says that helped me a lot is you have to, how does he say it? Being a master of one, master your craft, and then your craft will make room for you. Right. So master one thing. Get really good at that one thing, and it's going to make space for you, all right? Because being faithful to few will make you a master to many. So just start with one. If you go to acquisition, get the best at acquisitions. If you got pulling leads, SMS, start one, and then you add on. You doing your SWOT analysis, breaking down your OKRs, that's going to allow you to at least get a plan to succeed.
Yeah, now let's get into perspective and preparation. What does that turn into?
All right, so having the proper perspective and having a proper preparation will absolutely have the biggest impact on your performance.
Right.
So let's talk about it. Let's break that down a little bit. So having the right perspective, right? Having the right mindset.
We're getting the mindset in a little bit. So let's start.
So we're going to get the mindset, but just understand having the right mindset, having the right perspective. If I'm waking up, man, it's too hard. Life is too hard. Look at the president. Look at the economy. Look at my friends. Look at Instagram. If I'm waking up with a big 9,000-pound gorilla on me, I'm not going to want to make no calls. I'm not going to want to try to work on my business because my perspective is already tainted that I'm a failure or that I'm going to fail.
Let me talk about perspective real quick too, because perspective is having the proper mindset. If you want to be an entrepreneur or own your own business, you better be a very optimistic person. And I'm telling you that you have to be like, what I think it's so funny when people are like the wholesaling is the most competitive it's ever been. I look at it as I see a lot of people crushing it, and I'm like, I've never seen so much money made in wholesale. And I know that you could attest to this because we've been in the game for a long time. Is you never used to see $30,000, $40,000, $100,000 assignments, and people are clipping those on the daily.
Like it's 510.
There is so little inventory that, yes, is it harder to get a deal, but you're going to make more money. I've never seen more money made in this space. Now you have the big funds that you could sell to. You couldn't do that. They only bought multifamily back then. Now they're buying single family. There is so much more opportunity. So when someone new comes in saying, it's too hard, I can't do it, it's too saturated, I'm like, you've already lost.
Right, because of perspective. If I go, what did Mike Tyson said? I win right when I get in the ring. I already know their perspective there. I can feel the heartbeat. Well, you want to be that Mike Tyson. You want to be in there like, hey, I'm going to crush it today. Today's my day. One of my mentors back in the day when I first started, I was like 22 years old. I was 21. By my second year, I didn't do a deal for my first year. Yeah. But after I did my first deal, I realized it's like, it's your perspective. If you wake up every day, today's the day I'm going to get that deal. The day I'm 10,000, 20,000, 100,000.
Yeah.
So
and it's harder to get deals. I'm not saying that. But when you get a deal, you're making bigger clips and you're more profitable. So you guys, you have to get through the no's. Someone's talking about saying, you know, stop contacting me. People are calling me every day. Yes, they are, because this is a highly, you think it's easy to make $100,000? Go work a job. If you want to do this,
it's going to be hard anyways, right?
It's going to be hard. And you have to understand, find creative ways to do things. Target different lists that other people aren't targeting. Get creative. This isn't supposed to be easy.
Right.
If it was easy, everybody would be
millionaire. The way Instagram says it,
it's not. You have to have the right perspective. You have to believe in yourself. You have to be your best cheerleader. Don't ever see it as I can't do it. Figure out, okay, this is an obstacle. How do I do it better? And if everyone's doing the same thing, I'm like, great, they're all doing the same thing. How do I find a new or better way to do something? It's never saying poor me. It's everything's an obstacle, and how do you do better than the next person that's has the same obstacle that you have?
We're all playing the game on all Madden. It's hard for all of us, right? That's why I found fire damage, which we're going to go into a little bit later. But more importantly, I got two things for you guys. So if you're struggling right now with this, right, two things you're able to do. One, think about it like this. If you knew for a fact, if I go through 784 no's, I will get a $10,000 check. You be trying to take as many no's as you can, but because your perspective is, it might be 2 million no's I have to go through, I may never get it, you limit yourself, all right? And then the second thing to do, as far as a good perspective, is don't ask yourself, why has this happened to me? But no, the universe is conspiring for me. This is all part of a lesson. And either it's a lesson or it's a blessing. Either which way, I'm learning from it and I'm going to move forward.
It's a great way.
Proper perspective. Then I got the second part is preparation. All right, so preparation. All right, preparation, and shout out to Inky Johnson. I'm just a mixtape, a collage of all these quotes and thoughts and stuff. He says, how you prepare in private will determine if you will ever be praised in public. All right, I want to say that one again for you guys, all right? How you prepare in private will determine if you will ever be praised in public, which means, are you doing those reps when nobody's there? So they're doing role play. Go ahead.
So for me, I've obviously been on a weight loss journey, as of you.
You're winning.
But you know what you do in private, no one sees what I eat but me. No one knows how hard I work out but me. And then if I want that public praise, people saying you did a good job, I'm proud of you, you're inspiring me. It starts in the private. The only person you could cheat is yourself.
Anyways, and I see you putting your
That's the same thing in business. It's the same thing. What you're doing in private, all these people, they don't tell you, Instagram and TikTok, they don't tell you about the Friday nights and when you first got started. They're showing, hey, I'm on my chapter 10. You're on your chapter 1. They're not showing you the 9 chapters it took to get there and all the things that you did in private. And to be honest with you, sometimes people get lucky and come out the gate and crush it. That may be you, but if it's not you, don't compare either.
Yeah, the rest of us, outside, if that's you, good for you. The rest of us will do it.
You can catch the right person at the right time and get lucky. Or you could get unlucky to where you have to do double the calls or double the texting or double the lead generation to get that first deal than the average person. And the lucky person gets it their 10th day in and made a $50,000 deal. Is it a blessing or is it a lesson?
And just understand, regardless of which way it happens to you, what somebody else eats doesn't help fill your stomach. So understand, you pocket watching, you looking at what somebody else is doing isn't going to take away from your reps. It's not going to add food to your table. So
that's why you have your plan.
You have your plan, and part of your plan should be, hey, I should be role playing. hey, let me listen to my calls. Let me get my reps in there. Because once you start creating that muscle memory of, hey, I could talk to people, I could execute on a high level, you're going to start noticing that as you sow, so shall you reap, right?
Yeah.
So you plant those seeds. You can determine the fruits by the roots. I can tell you if based upon how many calls you're making, how much hours you spend role playing, close to how many deals you're probably closing. All right, now if you have a great marketing team and you have lots of money, sure, you might be able to cheat the system a little bit. But for the rest of us who don't have big budgets, the rest of us who have to get out the mud, prepare. Take extra pride in how you prepare. Look at Jordan. Look at Kobe. Look at LeBron. These guys are spending millions of dollars on practicing, millions of dollars working on their body before they even get to the game.
Right.
But because they execute in the game, they know. Then look at the checks they make.
Everybody praises him, but what did they do in private?
Right.
What did they sacrifice?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into. I do want to take some questions. I
Sure.
think people are going to have some great questions for us to give some advice on.
Let's give them.
On
Serve
some
the
stuff.
people. Serve the
But
people.
let's start with let's get into like proper mindset.
Oh, you're going in my pocket. You go in my pocket. So shout out to a billionaire boy Burrell over here. He came to one of our Master Self Sundays. I'm really big on mindset mastery. I hands down believe in manifesting. And that's why me and Alex are really connected. Octavius, like I'm really big on, vibrating at a higher level, what you can do for yourself.
Right.
So it's mindset. One thing I'm really big on, especially starting out, especially if you have a lot of exposure to it, I call it the guaranteed threes, your G3s, all right? Your guaranteed threes. And these are simply 3 things you do to start every morning, all right?
You've had me do this before.
and I'm just saying, the results looking good over there, my guy. So you do guaranteed threes, because what happens when you walk out that door in the morning, you have very little control over actually what happens to you.
Right.
You don't know if you're gonna die, catch COVID. If your wife, husband's gonna leave you don't really have control over that. What you do have control over is how you start your morning. Okay, and by you starting your morning, and you can pick any 3 of these.
You're saying you could start brushing your teeth. It's you making a commitment and doing something. So I know I would do affirmations. I'd brush my teeth, and I like to get breakfast in. Those are my 3 things that I have to do every single morning.
Right. And the trick is, like, you saw how Jessee picked that. The trick is you have to do these 3 things regardless if you're mad, sick, depressed, tired. These just make it so simple, but that you are in complete control. So I'm going to give you guys some options for you guys to choose from, all right? You can do your affirmations, like you said. You can make up your bed. You could do, hey, these are 5 things I'm grateful for.
Right.
You could do a prayer. You could read. You could do a journal. You could get a glass of water. You could work out. You could send a grateful text to somebody saying, hey, I'm just thankful and grateful for you. Start your day with a selfless act.
Right.
The key here is tell your mind, I'm not going to go and scroll on Instagram. I'm not going to check emails. I'm not going to ask how my wife is or my kids, my girlfriend's doing. I am going to pour into my own cup first. Because I'm willing to pour into my own cup, I'm able to pour into other people's cup.
Right.
Because how you control your morning will determine how you take command of your day.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Okay. So we obviously have the guaranteed 3s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mindset, we could go into a ton of different topics here. I want to talk about, the struggle of entrepreneurship and how it is to, let's talk about like a go-giver mindset or abundance mindset. You want to hop into that?
Sure. So, for a lot of you guys out there, I'm really big on, vision boards. I'm really big on vision boards because you could track what you want into your life. And by you being clear what you want, from clarity comes power. So once you have your vision board, you're seeing it, you speak affirmations for other people. When you feel good about yourself, it's easier to do good for other people. So when you meet people like a Jessee, like a Max out there, you meet a Pace or a Brent out there, you want to know, how can I add value to someone else? How can I make sure I leave you in a better position than how I met you? Now, you might be thinking, well, this guy got a Lambo. What am I going to do for this guy?
So that's not true. I've had people add value in lots of ways to me. Don't ever be intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out a way to help someone. Like, I'm going to be able to help someone new because I have experience with something they want to learn how to do. But like my buddy Anthony was asking me when I first helped him with some stuff. He's like, there's not a lot I could do. But he was a plumber by trade, and he asked if I had a water softener or reverse osmosis in my house. I was like, no, I was actually thinking about getting those. It's kind of expensive. He's like, just buy the material. I'll install it for you. That's my gift back to you.
See, that's what I'm saying. So
now
simple.
I mentor him for free, and he's His first full year, first full year in real estate, he did $600K,
Come on.
and he's going to do over $1 million this year.
Let's go. It all started off of him wanting to pour back into you.
Yep.
And so one thing I learned what ET talks about is mutualism.
Yeah.
All right, mutualism, and make sure you look for mutualism in all your relationships, in all your circle. And it's not the same in giving, because I could give a different, if I'm sitting with a different bag, I could give differently than you. However, it's the same in sacrifice. All right. And so am I willing to sacrifice? Hey, maybe I could just go and get you lunch. Maybe I could wash your car. Maybe I could sweep your front porch for you.
Right.
Be willing to do anything. Exactly. But be willing to give before you receive, because givers really gain at the end of the day.
And then he asked 600K. Is that real? So actually, Anthony, he is very creative. Anthony Pappas is.
The Anthony?
He does land.
Mhm.
So he goes after land in 3 markets. He really learned what developers wanted. He knows how to entitle stuff. I've actually bought some stuff with him. So he came to me saying, hey, I have this deal. I'll split the lots. We split profits. Just give me, put the money up. Done. You know what I mean? I'm doing nothing, getting a nice return on my money. Now he's starting to do some more stuff. And yeah, his first full year, they did 600K in gross. I'm not going to say what he netted, but he did good.
Yeah, that's
he was the year before, he was a plumber, made $65,000.
10x in 1 year.
And then this year, and then his last quarter, he's clipping about $80,000-$90,000 a month in gross. So
in a month, he did what he used to do in a year,
Yeah.
but he planted that seed.
he I think November, I hate to put his finances on blast, but he netted more in it was November, December than he made the prior year plumbing.
Come on.
So
Come on.
it's out there, but he is the hardest worker I've ever met. He works 10-hour days. He gets up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym, starts his day off at 8,
Preparing in private.
works till 6 o'clock, does full days on Saturdays,
Mhm.
and then on Sundays it's the day for himself. And then when he gets home at night, after dinner, he reads for an hour.
See? Self-enriching himself, pouring into himself. And like I said, be very clear that these are things you can do for free. But the free things are usually the most priceless things, right?
Yeah.
Where you do it with your time, where you do it with your focus, you're going to see that it has a direct correlation with your success. So be willing to plant those seeds. Like I said, you might not have a lot to give, but give time, give attention, give energy, be present, take notes. When somebody's sharing knowledge with you, these are part of that go-giver mentality. This is how you can show that you have the proper perspective, is how you interacting with people. How do you leave people when they're done interacting with you? Says a lot about you.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. So I do want to take some questions pretty soon here.
Okay.
So let's talk about, you wanted to give a few things away.
Yes. All right. So what I want to give away is this is a personal process to make sure you do for time management, because now we gave them a good plan of how to create a plan.
Yeah.
All right. We talked about high level, like how to kind of get your yearly done, your quarterly goal, weekly, daily. But how do I account for my time and action? So this is, I personally, we dropped it in the comments. This is my personal gift to all my Batch family here. This is called the A through E method. I'm gonna just go really quickly explain it. Within that document is SOP. There's a video, 7-minute video of me explaining it to you. This helped me to go from making $100,000 a year to $400,000 or $500,000 a year once I
Right.
start implementing this.
Yeah.
Super important.
Alex, you get that in the comments?
All right.
All right,
cool.
guys, it's in the comments. Download it for free. It's a Google Drive.
Yes,
It's open
Google
to
Drive.
everybody.
Yep, open for everybody. It's our free gift for you. So what you do real quickly, the A through E method works like this. When you have a bunch of tasks, regardless if you're working for yourself, working part-time, or you're just looking at just getting managing your time. You're not even doing real estate yet. What you do is you mind dump everything you could possibly do for the week. So you could do this on a Sunday or preferably Monday before you start work. You get a document, get a piece of paper, whatever, mind dump everything. Because what do we do on entrepreneurs? Oh, I remember to do that later. Oh, I got that later, right? So we all think we have like maximum RAM space up here, right? The goal here with this process is to trust the process, not trust your mind anymore.
Yeah.
So you mind up everything. So first do the business stuff, then do the personal stuff. I got to get a haircut. I got to, pick up flowers from mom, write it all down.
Yep.
Then once you have that whole list down, then you're going to apply the A through E method to it. So you're really you're prioritizing your list.
Gotcha.
So A stands for always get done. B stands for better get done. C stands for could get done. D stands for delegate. E stands for eliminate. All right. So now you're thinking, oh, hold on, to delegate. I'm just by myself. Who am I delegating to? This forces you to think like a boss. Even if you're a boss of one, it forces you to start thinking like a boss. So
yeah, maybe I need a $4 an hour VA.
boom.
To do a couple things here.
All right.
Like you'll learn when you're first getting started. If you really have a shoestring budget, then you're doing it all on your own. But you can know that this should be delegated. Maybe you're not delegating it yet, but at least you know.
Right. So by you going through your list, saying, hey, this is an A item. This is important to me. This is a B item. This is a C item. But this, oh man, I hate uploading my list to my batch list stack. I hate doing that. Shout out the batch. I hate doing that. And so what I end up doing, I'm going to delegate this first thing I make my first check. This is the first thing I want to delegate.
Yep.
And then you think about, hey, what can I eliminate? Are you focused on what can I eliminate? You should try to pick one task each week. What can I eliminate? And just because you eliminate it from this week, doesn't mean it's forever. Maybe do it next quarter. Maybe next year. Maybe it doesn't align with your OKRs.
Yep.
Maybe not part of your outcomes.
Yep.
So you're forcing yourself to think efficiently. Okay. So now you got that all set, A, B, C, D, E. Then you're going to go to, I highly recommend just use Google. Google Calendar is free. Super simple. Keep it Jewish friendly around here. All right. All right. So what ends up happening, you start picking blocks of time. So Monday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., I'm going to do these A items. Get big blocks of time. Don't try to cram every 30 minutes with something.
Right.
Big blocks of time. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to do these B items. On Fridays, I'm going to do these C items for a block of time.
Right.
So now you have blocks of time for everything. The value you're going to get out of this is at the end of the week, and you're about to do your next week, you're going to go back and have that awareness. What did I get done this week? Did I get all my A items done? Did I get my B items done? Oh, I didn't get my B items done on Thursday. Well, why didn't I get done?
Right.
Oh, I was scrolling online. Oh, I went to Jessee and went golfing when I should have been making calls, right? And so now you can say, I'm going to make the adjustments for my time, or I'm going to be more realistic with my time. I'm not going to schedule anything on Friday night because that's my date night. I'm not going to do that anymore. So now you're able to make the adjustments for your life. You're going to start being more effective, more productive. And once you start knocking things out and you start trusting yourself because you have a process to execute, watch your results take off.
I couldn't agree more. And then people are talking about, how it's hard to do things. And I talked about land. The other thing a lot of people don't touch is you have a fire damage course. So do you want to talk? I'm talking 2 minutes because I want to get a few questions in. But you do and make a lot of money in fire damage. So you just want to talk about that for a quick minute?
A couple quick strokes on that. I want to invite everybody to go to Fire Damage Profits. It's my free Facebook community group. I got into the niche in the fire damage niche because, like I said, in 2008, the collapse happened, and you want to talk hard. It was really hard. No deals. I mean, there's deals everywhere. Buyers are drying up. Deals are drying up. And we're out here in Arizona, land of the gurus. It's hard to find deals. And so I had to find a different way. I stumbled into buying fire damage deals because all my investors, they avoid those. The gurus, they don't buy them. Hedge funds, they don't buy them. Right. So this is the one deal. The other wholesalers will actually send you their leads because they don't want to work on them. And then I figured out that you can make multiple checks because there's insurance money involved in it. So I figured out I can make up to 3 checks on one deal that everyone else is overlooking. And so not only do you have a new niche to work, you're able to go after deals that most people don't know how to do, and you're really adding value to these people because they got to sell or they got to do something with them. And I can help them rebuild it. I can help them get more insurance, or I can just buy the property from them. So it's a good field transaction. It's less competition with triple the profits. If that's something you guys are interested in, go to Fire Damage Profits on Facebook, and you guys be a part of my free community. And we got plenty of trainings. We work like you. We move from a mindset of abundance. So good niche.
and then the other cool thing, I haven't even mentioned this to you, but we're actually working on putting a storm damage tracker into Batch Leads.
Let's go.
So that should be out in about a month or so, but that's the same type of concept, correct?
Absolutely.
So I think that we're gonna have to talk. I might have you do some training on that because we're gonna be working with some more verticals that could really use Batch Leads. There's roofers, there's contractors, some mortgage officers. So it's actually gonna enhance everything for even our core audience and why we built this product for wholesalers, because they have some things that we already provide that their industry doesn't, and we're going to get some of the stuff that we could start implementing into the real estate investing community with storm tracking and stuff like that, to where you could start hopping from market to market and start getting some checks. So I think it's something really exciting and interesting.
You guys are so innovative, man. You guys are always just thinking, well, what's next? How do we add more value? How do we add more value? That's phenomenal. You let me know when you get that, because that's probably like one of the hardest niches about the fire damage niche. You can't just go to PropStream or Batch and just, right for now, you can't pull a list, and so by you having this, or at least having access to this data, it's gonna make it simple. And then there's a whole different approach you have to take to
Yeah,
these
you blanket
sellers.
the area, but you have to talk to these people totally different because you're helping
Totally
them with
different.
insurance and all these different things. So
Yeah.
you should probably change it from fire damage to storm damage properties.
Yeah, hey, 2022 is looking bright over here for sure.
Okay, and then you guys, we wanted to take a few questions.
Mhm.
Jeez, you know, I COVID last week. Brain still
coming back.
scrambled a little
He ain't
bit.
get his coffee in.
But you guys, we have about 12 minutes. We'd love to answer some questions.
Yeah, what questions
Specifically on kind of what we talked about, but you know, let us know what you have.
you guys have? Yeah, what questions you guys have?
I don't know if questions have been asked, Alex, or if anyone's on the
question side.
on the question side. You guys put them in the Q&A, please, not the chat. Let's get some questions rolling.
Yeah, and I think as the questions are coming in,
You want to do an affirmation real quick?
you know what? Let's go ahead and give them the affirmation. Let's go ahead and give them the affirmation. So ask your questions, like I said, business related, entrepreneurship related, planning, set up your OKRs, you know, fire damage, anything you guys want. We want to add value. This is your guys' time. We want to pour into you guys, want to serve. So if any of you guys want my affirmations, all you have to do is just DM me, Elijah Rubin on Instagram. Just DM me Batch. Just DM me Batch, and I'll make sure I send you my affirmations, and I'll also send you that A through E method. So I have 2 affirmations I do, but I'm just gonna give you guys one of them. All right. Like I said, I've been saying these for like almost 10 years now. I manifested relationships, deals, opportunities. I think you could vibrate and change your own frequency. This starts with it. So I'm gonna give you guys one of them so you guys can hear it. I like to usually have my hip hop instrumentals in the background, but it's cool. We're gonna do this a cappella for y'all, all right? So let's get into it. I promise myself to be so strong that nothing can disturb my peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person I meet, to make all my friends feel like there's something worthwhile in them. Look at the sunny side of everything and make my optimism come true. To think only for the best, to work only for the best, to expect only the best. Be just enthusiastic about the success of others as I'm about my own. To forget the mistakes of the past, to press on the great achievements of the future. To wear cheerful expression at every time, and get every creature to smile to every little creature I meet. To give so much time improving myself to have no time left to criticize others. To be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, too happy to prevent the presence of trouble. To think well of myself and proclaim this fact to the world. Not allow words, but yes and great deeds. To live on my faith, that can be the best inside me, as long as God's what's inside me. Salute.
Hey,
So let's go. Come on, you feel the vibes.
I love it. All right, we got a few questions that popped in.
All right.
We have one from Susan. Will there be a replay available? I believe we email out a replay, and then we're actually going to post it onto YouTube as well. BatchTV. If you guys aren't signed up there, sign up, and then subscribe. We got a question from, I believe, Brian. How would you suggest someone spend their time when just getting started? Should it all be cold calling? I have about 1 to 2 hours a day max out of site work, usually 1 day a week off, trying to learn how to structure that little bit of time to be most effective. Go ahead.
Good. So a couple things. All right. So I think we started at the beginning of it. Get clear on what you want. All right. Why you want it. Okay. When you want to buy and when you willing to sacrifice. So when I was working a job, I did with the 5 to 9, 5 a.m. till 9 a.m. till I had to go to work. Then I worked my 9 to 5. And when I was off, I did the 5 to 9 on the back end.
Yep.
Now, not everybody wants to put that much extra effort in. I get it. So if you don't want to do that, I highly recommend using the A through E method. Get clear on where your time's going before you start taking a bunch of action.
Yeah.
Get clear on what your vision is, what I want, the strategy, which we'll talk about in a second, but be clear where your time's going to. So once you're clear where your time's going to, I'm really big on exposure, because if you have exposure, meaning you're tapping people, you have a chance to place your hooks. You can't control how many fish you catch. All you can control is how many fish hooks you put out.
Yeah.
So making a phone call, sending an SMS out, doing a Craigslist post, doing a Facebook post, those are things you should do to get hit.
And then, Brian, with your question, in my opinion, is what is your goal? So is your goal to do this to supplement and help your income? Or is it, do I need X amount of dollars to quit my job? Set a timeline on how long that makes. Do I need 30,000, 20,000, 50,000? If you have kids and mortgages, there's all different circumstances. Figure out what you want to do and then reverse engineer it. That's my best advice for you, is you need to know. You're telling me that you have 1 to 2 hours a day, but like, what's your goal?
Right. And so, in worst case scenario, every day, make offers. Like, I mean, if you don't have nothing else to do, you're not sure about goals, you don't want to do any of that, what we were telling you to do, make offers, because nobody's going to knock on the door. Hey, Jesse, here's a house I wanted to sell you. You look like you're struggling. Here you go. No one knows you're here. No one does. Make offers at least.
We had another one. Realistic, can you have sustained success and do a lot of business in a small market like 100K people? Question from Max Small. The answer is no, you can't. You're going to have a virtual market. There's a lot of people, especially on the left coast, west coast. Those markets are really hard, really competitive. Washington, California. A lot of people will go learn how to do it virtually. RJ Bates has an amazing virtual wholesaling course. If you go to BatchTV, he's virtually wholesaling every Wednesday live.
Shout out to RJ King Closer.
You can get deals, and you still should do deals in your backyard, especially if you're flipping or looking to buy. But if you're wanting to grow, you're probably not going to get the success you want to with a smaller market.
I agree in totality with what Jesse's saying. I think, yes, if you want to make lots of money, you probably can't do that in a small market. However,
you can make good money.
You can make good money, and more importantly, you could finesse your fundamentals. So start in your backyard, get deals, close fire damage deals, go off probates, do other deals nobody else is doing, because there should be less competition for you because it's such a small market. So you want to get results in your back market before you start jumping into other markets.
And then I agree. Mm-hmm. Do you have any tax attorneys, tax help for wholesalers? My best advice is tap your circle, talk to someone that's already been wholesaling for a while, and figure out who their accountant is or tax accountant is. Because wholesaling is really not that complicated. You have assignment fees that you make money. You have marketing expenses, double closings. It's not very hard. Make sure that you have. I'm not a tax attorney.
Right. I'm not giving advice.
But if you're making more than, I'm going to say $75,000 a year net, this is not advice, but I hear and I have an S corp, and I'm sure you do too. But talk to someone in your market or that in your state that already is doing what you're doing, and see if they have an accountant that they're happy with. Yeah, that's my best advice.
And I'm saying in the same vein, go to your RIAs, go on Facebook, post questions, interview a couple tax accountants, get some of the best questions, get some of the best practices, and just don't go after the first person. Don't go and Google it and just pick your first person. This is I had some tax problems when I first started in real estate.
This should be a networking thing. Tap your network, tap your RIAs.
100%.
Make sure that multiple people use this person or that they've been using them for a long time and they're happy, because you could get some bad advice.
Yes, get bad advice that could get you in behind the eight ball. So ask right questions and take some time to interview them. Just don't pick with the first person you find.
I agree. Their job is to sell you just as much.
Right. Everybody's closing.
What's the best type of leads to go for? Example, duplex, SFR, vacant land, absentee owner. There's no such thing. The best thing is to try. Each market is different, and it depends on your strategy. I know RJ loves to go after people that own rental properties, because normally when he's getting in contact with those homeowners, they're people that already understand real estate. It's just a transaction. He doesn't have the personality that wants to finesse a homeowner. He wants to get a transaction done. He's very transactional. You are going to say niche down. I like fire damage. It is figure out what you are good at. Try all of it. Tried marketing to a bunch of different type of properties, and then figure out land could be great, but you have to understand it. Fire damage could be great. A lot of people, the easier stuff is the vacants, the absentees. A lot more people are going to do that. So if you're going after those lists, you better be really good at closing, or else you're not going to have success.
Right. And I like I said, I subscribe to the same similar philosophy. Like I said, being in Arizona, I knew that being half Jewish, I wasn't going to pay out the big budget for the marketing. So I had a niche down, and that's why I stumbled into the fire damage. I personally feel with global warming, it's not just like fire damage works the same way for water damage, wind damage, like you said, all disaster properties. I think that's one. And I really believe pre-probates are going to be some of the best deals out there, because you have large estates that are liquidating, baby boomers are getting older. But like you said, it takes more time. You have to do what we teach people, the 3 E's. You have to empathize with them, educate and empower them. And if that's not your personality site, like RJ, that's not what he's going to do, but he's going to go off the people who's going to make non-emotional decisions. So depending on what market you're in, and depending on what your focus is, try to go after niches most people aren't going after, is my my rule.
And then Brian said his goal was to make, an extra 5K a month. So basically you need to figure out how to get one deal a quarter. That's actually not very hard. And it's probably with assignments right now, it's probably like one deal every 6 months.
Right.
But I would figure out, reverse engineer everything and figure out how you can get that one deal a quarter. And then it doesn't feel like this big thing that you're doing. You should at least make 15 grand on a deal. You need one a quarter.
Yeah.
And with that hour to 2 hours that you have and 1 day extra, you could absolutely do it, bro. I 100% believe in you. I know you could do it. I want to end on this because it's my favorite question of the day. What are some good books to read? And I know me and you are both huge readers. So I will let you go with 2 books first.
Okay.
I'll say 2 of my favorite, 2 or 3, and then we'll wrap it up. And thank you guys so much for coming today, and we do appreciate it. But let's give them books is what has changed my life more than anything. So
for sure,
and I know for you. So give a couple books.
I'm a big believer. And our readers make the best leaders. All right, be well versed. So 2 books that are definitely rocked my foundation. That like after I read both these books, you got to read like 2-3 times. Kind of like watching Fight Club. Yeah. You don't even realize until you watch it the 3rd time. Like, oh crap, he's multi-personality disordered. So the more you read these, the more gems and self-application you'll be able to apply. So first one, I highly recommend Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. Hands down, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Phenomenal book. The 3rd time I read it, I made an extra $45,000 that year. The 3rd time I read it, once I started applying it versus just looking at it. So
I've read that book too. I think it's great to wrap your head around, what a millionaire actually looks like, and how to become one, and truly believe that you can be one.
Right. It gives you something I didn't realize, like how your programming works.
Yep.
Your programming controls your thoughts control your feelings control your action control your results define your legacy. So if you don't like your results, now you could go back and reverse engineer it and change the channel.
Right.
And I didn't realize that. So that was really a good foundational book. Then something for your business side. Now you got the mindset side done. For the business side, huge believer in Traction by Gino Wickman. If I read this book, it shaved 7 years off my long ass 18-year career. It shaved 7 years, how to handle meetings, how to identify, discuss, and solve problems, how to make sure you're, what is the integrator, what is the visionary, how to prevent shiny object syndrome, how to hire right people. These are things nobody gives entrepreneurs tools to do it. That's the first book I found that absolutely, the 3rd time I read it, once I finally got around to reading it, that's when we actually made our first 6-figure month. Once we actually start applying those tools. So for sure.
Well, I'm going to say, don't read Traction and read Measure What Matters. That is an OKR driven book. And I think both of them can work. I think Traction is a little confusing for someone that's just getting started. I think Measure What Matters is confusing for someone that's just getting started, to be honest with you. I think What the Heck is EOS. It's a really short book.
Yep,
that's a great one. If you're just getting started, I would read that.
Sure.
Go Giver is by far my favorite book ever.
Man, wow.
That's a great read if you guys have not read it.
100%. Yeah.
Go Giver. And then on the business side, Extreme Ownership by Jocko.
That's a good one. Yeah, Extreme Ownership. That's a good one too.
It really makes you look within as a leader. You taking ownership of everything because, at the top, if everyone's not aligned, you are responsible for it. If someone else makes a mistake, it's still on you.
Yep.
And you have to figure out and fix it. And if they're not the right person, then they shouldn't be doing it. But you should take ownership. It's a great book. It's a great read too. And then if you want sales or negotiations, I love You Can't Teach a Kid How to Ride a Bike at a Seminar.
Yeah.
And
Never Split the Difference.
And Never Split the Difference.
Gotcha.
Close
the Olympics family over here. We do it. Closers, no closers. So I think those are really good books. And I think what's really important is just you spending time in call it self-enrichment time, right? Self-enrichment, pouring into yourself. Read the books. Sometimes do your affirmations. That's part of your guaranteed threes.
Reading is the thing that's changed my life more than anything. It gives you new perspectives. It's giving you more thoughts. You're thinking more. Your mind is expanding. I didn't read a ton until I started my entrepreneurial path. I just wasn't around people that read.
Right.
And once I was, it really has had me grow a lot as a person, as a communicator, as a leader, as everything. So before we go, last thing, how do people get a hold of you on social media?
So last thing, so you guys can reach out to me, Elijah Rubin on Instagram, Elijah Rubin on Facebook. Join my free Facebook group, Fire Damage Profits. This Saturday, I'm actually doing a call-a-thon.
Nice.
So from 11 to 3 for free, we let people come. All you have to just do, like I said, just DM me, call-a-thon. We'll get you a link to it. And for my students, I make phone calls with them. We do an hour role playing.
Nice.
And then I actually hop on calls and help them close their deals right there live. So there's no excuses why they should be closed every single month. So that's just a place we want to give people a chance to work on mindset and execute, not just talk about it, be about it. So yeah.
Awesome. And then make sure you guys follow us on BatchTV, my Instagram, Jessee Burrell. And until next time, again, thank you for coming. Thank you for doing this with me. Until next time, let's get it.
Salute.